So what did you just say, Lawty, about announcers? If they didn't know what the question was going to be, what will happen? Shit will just come out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how they are.
They.
The good ones.
I feel like you're stereotyping here, the good ones. Lawty and Brett, here we are at one of the best locations in any, this is what I call the oil rig, because it just sits up on top here until it's kind of like an oil rig.
We need a sign up here for that.
Yeah. It's the morning after 43rd Super Nationals. How long have you been doing this for, Lawty?
I don't really know for sure. Somewhere around 40 years.
Why?
Because that's the only thing I know how to do. It's profitable.
Yep.
And that's the only thing I've ever done in my entire life. I don't know how to do anything else.
Everybody links you to the World of Outlaws, to sprint cars.
Well, I was fortunate when Ted was alive to do a lot of them. It's a different era now.
Yeah.
I don't know as one person's in control of it like it was when Ted had it.
Yeah.
And Ted's deal was extremely profitable.
Yeah.
You could put one of his shows almost anywhere.
Yep.
Didn't have to be a sprint car racetrack. You could put it almost anywhere and it would work. You can't do that today. First of all, the purses are too high, and secondly, they don't have. It's too fragmented.
Yep.
And they got lots of problems that he didn't have.
Well, the world's changed too, Lawty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, back then he was the only show in town,
Exactly.
and a few people tried to take him on over the years, right? Everyone thought they could do it better.
Yep.
That still happens to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody was ever. I don't think anybody ever stuck with it long enough. I think there probably could have been competition to him, but it would have taken some time. You know, you just couldn't fire off and get it done in a year or two. It was at least a minimum of a 5-year project, and I'm not sure they could have whipped him then, because he had all the good drivers.
I was going to say he had Steve and Sammy.
Yeah, you know, he had all the good drivers, and they were all fixed up. That at that point in time, that was the secret to the World of Outlaws. It was the drivers.
Yeah.
And he had them all under control.
So, have you always been just a dirt track guy, or
Yeah.
with modifieds and stock cars, was that always on your radar, or?
Well, I don't know, on the radar. It just happened to be the cars that we ran in this part of the country. You know.
So, although you did a lot of sprint car promoting, this was always at the core of what you did as well?
Yeah. At one time we had 4 racetracks on a weekly basis. Back
Wow.
in the days when I was working.
Yep.
But I don't know as I want to do anything else. I'm not sure I'm smart enough to do anything else either, so.
Well, you've got great people around you, Lawty, and not because he's sitting here, but I get to work with a lot of promoters across the world, and Brett is one of the most proactive and actively marketing conscious and savvy, and always wanting to build something better. So you've got good people around you.
Well, the thing about our progress here is because of what IMCA's done.
Yep.
I mean, we just facilitated what they brought forth to us. That's all we've done. We had a nice enough facility and big enough facility that we can do this, you know, where most people don't have that kind of luxury.
Yeah.
You know, we're one of, I don't know, is there more than one private owned one in Iowa?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Is there?
Yeah.
Who else?
There's a couple. We got 34 Raceways. Burlington,
Burlington, and who else?
privately owned.
Probably one more somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, most of them are all county facilities, which is a whole nother subject.
But this hasn't happened overnight, this place,
No.
right? I imagine this has some very humble beginnings, Brett. Like, it didn't always look like this, did it?
Yeah, no, it hasn't. His stories are the best. You know, the Beanfield story and some of the stuff that they did before I had ever been here. I hadn't been to a Super Nationals until here at Boone Speedway until the year John Logan won it. I think it was '95.
Okay.
Might have been '96. And I came because my mother at that time was buying IMCA.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in college and.
What were you going to be?
Pardon me?
What were you going to be?
I got a bachelor's degree in technology which is like one step lower than an engineer. So don't laugh too much, Lawty. I didn't go to Iowa State for engineering like some of my friends. But it was emphasis in robotics and automation, CNC programming. So I went to school to go into basically into production, to work at a place like John Deere or something like that. That's what I kind of envisioned at some point in time, programming the NC machines and making stuff. I just really like making stuff. That's why I do all that. I position myself as a career to do all that stuff, and then I end up working for my mom at IMCA. I mean, come on. I mean, what do you do now, Brett? Well, I argue with people on the phone. I mean, it's so different. It's not what I envisioned my career being, but like I said, my first Super Nationals was here right out of college, and I remember sitting in that VIP tower right over there when John Logue passed Scott Drake for the win on the last lap.
Yep.
Last corner of the last lap. I'll never forget that. That's the first Super Nationals I'd been to here, and I've been to every one since.
When we, about the time he came, that north parking lot was a bean field.
You're right.
And we had such an overflow of cars that year. I just called up the bean farmer and I said, "Hey, I need to use your ground." And I says, "How much is that crop worth?" And I don't know what he told me, whatever it was worth. So we just wrote him a check and went out there and knocked him over and started parking race cars.
Wow.
You know.
That's awesome.
Isn't that so good?
It's crazy.
It's
you
so
know.
cool.
What facility in the country would have that luxury?
Yeah.
You know, who would have the luxury of having 70 acres and get an event like this that takes all of it? It takes all 70 acres of it to make it work. You know.
Does Boone understand the city?
They do.
Because you are so close. Like when you drive into this place, or when you drive out on that highway at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, and the lights are still on, and the whole place it's very close to town.
They gave us fits for a while.
Yep.
I don't know whether they got a new mayor or whatever happened.
Yep.
He gave them fits for a while too. Let's be honest.
Well, I can imagine you would have pushed back. But the economic impact is huge, Lawty.
Here's the thing that they wanted me to do. And I don't know how the feud started, but it doesn't really matter. It started. They wanted me to get my grandstand recertified.
Oh.
I said, how in the hell am I going to get a grandstand that's 30 years old recertified? They no company going to do that. Well, then just put in a new one. I says, that's $150,000. You think this facility can afford a $150,000 investment?
Yep.
At that time, we couldn't afford probably a $50,000 investment.
Yeah.
They have since gone away.
They're still there, but this community.
Let's put it this way: the community is far behind us now, where before.
Very supportive of us.
Yeah, they're very supportive of us.
Because if let's just say there's 100 businesses over there. Let's just say the greater majority of the population are just people.
Yeah.
They're not business owners,
Yeah.
right? So they're residents.
Yeah.
So it's more of an inconvenience to them that there's more traffic on the road, or that they have to stand behind 20 people at St. Avenue Cafe, than someone who owns the laundromat that gets it, or Scooter's Coffee, or those kind of places. So you're talking about two different people here in their city, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So not everybody, even Knoxville has pushback,
They do.
right? Oh, absolutely they do.
And it's understandable. I mean, you disrupt everyone's lives for 10 days or 2 weeks, and you know, I wouldn't like it either. You know, if I was a normal citizen, I didn't give a shit about racing.
Yep.
I would not like my life disrupted either, like we do.
We talk about this is really, if you take the romance out of it, Brett, this is a field. It's a paddock, right? It was a bean field. Yeah, we're sitting in this really cool big grandstand. Yeah, there's a cool old set of bleachers there. Yeah, there's infrastructure. But ultimately, if you take this brown circle of dirt out and take away the romance, this is just a paddock. But the value of it, right? Well, that's the truth, right? We sit here romantically and go, wow, that's where Tim Ward ran the top, just there last night, and that's where we saw Logue do this. But the reality is, with the catwalks and all that sort of stuff, it's how do you value something like this? You know, like real estate-wise, it's just a paddock next to a highway.
Well, we've been we've been lucky enough to grow with the event.
Yeah.
If somebody would dump this on somebody today, they wouldn't have a clue how to make it work.
No.
You know, and it isn't that complicated. You know, once you do it a few times, it's not that complicated. But boy, to dump it on somebody one time, all this stuff. You know, what do we have? Nearly 100 employees.
Nearly 200.
Nearly 200 employees.
Yeah.
Where in the hell did the other 100 come from?
Who's paying for the other 100?
That's just the Speedway side of things. That doesn't include IMCA and our tech guys and
And I thought my payroll was only 100 people, and it's 200.
Damn it, I didn't mean it. Oh, this just got awkward.
When did
we're
it?
about double that. We have these conversations a lot where I'm like, you know what that costs? And they'll tell me a number. I'm like, no, it's about double that.
The car count thing is eventually you can't get more. Every year it's like, you know, I heard 1,000 cars 5 years ago, 1,000 cars. Nobody can get their brain around that. And that is what I tell people. It's one of the first things I tell people about Boone. They get 1,000 cars. This year we're over 1,100. It's beyond the point now though. If you had 900 or 800 or 700, it's not about the car count, it's just a good talking point. It doesn't devalue this event, Brett, because there's 800 cars one year.
Right.
It's self-limiting, you know what I mean? It's like drag racing. How fast can you go? It's the culture here that's cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people get caught up in that car count, and we probably promote that. Rightfully so. We promoted it. We're proud of it. We're proud of the fact that we're able to draw that many cars from all over the country at a dirt race. But you know, at times I think that becomes maybe a little too much of the focus.
Yeah, I agree.
I say it many times to people that ask me, "Hey, what's the car count, or where are we at?"
Yeah.
I say, we got enough cars for a race. We have enough cars for a race, and we would have enough cars for a race if we had 800 cars. But you know, you don't want to limit it. You want people to come and be a part of this event. We want them to come. Again, we promote this as America's racing vacation. We want, and that's how our racers are planning it. You know, they come in groups. They come with their buddies. They want to save pit stalls. They want to pit by the right people. There's a lot of things here, a lot of moving parts that I think we've tried to address that has just continued to increase the car count because people want to be a part of it. We don't necessarily make them leave. You know, they can stay. We're trying to accommodate everybody to come here, stay at the racetrack as long as they can. If they want to come for the week and race for 2 days and then stay for the rest, we want to accommodate that. I think that's good for the facility. That's good for the event. It's good for the community. There's just a lot of positives about that, and I think that's kind of what's going on now. But yeah, there is a point from everything that's happening on the racetrack that, you know, enough is enough. We've got enough. You and I have talked about this. We waste probably too much. I mean, our program's about what, 12 hours if there's no hiccups.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're at 11 to 12 hours if we don't have any delays whatsoever. You know, like cars rolling over or weather or any of those other things you can't control. So, you know, I don't know. This we're full. We've talked about this many times the last few years. You know, every year we kind of go out there and say, okay, we're about out of space. We're about out of space. And this year, I think we kind of proved we're probably to our limit. But I mean, I don't know. We'll do our best to try to figure out how we address that issue and I don't know, maybe get 1,200 cars next year.
Well, I mean, it's entirely possible because the legend grows and everybody wants to be part of that. And you're dealing with people that earn a living from this industry and people that live for it. So you've got a balance of someone that's going to run, like I talked to Nathan Tompkins, my friend from Queensland. He qualified 89th or something out of 200 and something cars, and he's ecstatic. Because that's a hell of a deal to be, you know, he drove for CZ, and thank you for CZ and for us talking about that, and you helped me to put that together. But people are going to want to be part of this because whether they can race out of sight in a dark night or whether they're going to lead the A main, it's wanting to be part of something.
Yep.
That's what you've built.
Well, it's so tough to make this event.
Yeah.
It is just so tough to make it. You know, when you're a couple hundred cars and you're one of the 25, how much tougher can it get?
In Australia, we're a lot more of a nanny state, right? There's a lot of rules, far more than there are here. So there's things like OH&S, occupational health and safety. So the idea of running a race at 3 o'clock in the morning in Australia is pretty well unheard of because someone would say, well, if someone crashed, it was because they'd been there for 18 hours or, You know, you've got medical teams that are here on long shifts. You've got concession staff. You've got pit staff. Everybody's here for a long time. So there's a big tax on people, Brett. You know, on the people that facilitate this. The racer will be here anyway, right? There's a race on at 5. They're going to roll out there. But your team, it's massive.
They're pretty dedicated to us, you know.
Yeah,
most of them been 20 years.
yeah, he's told me many times too, you know, that you don't have to look for good people; they'll find you.
Okay.
And there's a lot of truth to that. Those my best employees at IMCA are our most dedicated employees. Or you know, I didn't have to call them to come to work for me. They called me. Ryan Clark's a good example.
Yep.
You know, when a position opened up IMCA, Ryan said, "Hey, I'm interested in that." You know, same with Dave Brent, who I think is one of the best tech guys we've ever had in this association. You know, he was coming here as one of the guys that we were just paying up whatever it was at the time, probably $60 a day. Wasn't a lot of money. You know, coming up from Kansas, sleeping in a camper. He's been coming here for what 25 years now. Again, you know, I mean, we're very fortunate to have a really good staff, and I don't think at times too people necessarily realize that we're all putting in the hours. The people sitting at those gates are putting in the hours. The people who are down and doing the draw are the same people that are up in the tower at 1 in the morning scoring races. You know, and then you go 8 o'clock the next morning where I'm over here saying, hey, we're going to open the draw. The same people are down there opening the draw. You know, there's some very, very dedicated employees here at Boone Speedway, and you need that. I really think that this event is not the same without people like that.
I don't know how we roll over staff. If we had to roll over staff every 3 or 4 years, we'd have such a nightmare. Oh man,
it would be tough.
Oh God,
yeah,
it would be tough.
You know, you've had the last 2 years that I've been paying attention. You've had Paul McMahon, who's one of the sprint car icons. You've had Shane Stewart here the other night, who's a sprint car icon. You've had Skip Jackson. All of them have never been here before, and they all talked about efficiency. The thing that blew them away was how you rolled the cars on track constantly, how the track worked constantly. They're very impressed with how you just keep things rolling. It's not a shit show. That's something you must have worked on, a culture. Like the old dirt doctor, like he knows when he comes out, it's time to get it on. They're not rolling around waving at people. Your track team is phenomenal.
Yeah, they are.
Well, it's not rocket science. It really isn't. I mean, you only race on about that much.
Yep.
You know, anything deeper than that, you got problems. So, as long as we can keep the top of the racetrack moist and loose, and they continually pull that back every night, you get the same surface every night. I mean, some of it goes over the bank, but big deal. And these guys have been at it so long, they don't make any mistakes. I can remember one night years ago, somebody overwatered it, and the frickin' water was in the sheets foot holes. I made people go out there with a cup and take the water out of the sheets foot holes.
Welcome to Lawty world.
I mean, I thought, how in the hell could a guy run a water truck be so stupid as to fill all the water hole, fill all the sheets foot holes full of water? Now, where does he think that water's going to go? God.
But we had right over your shoulder, right? We had a character building indentation, I was calling it, rather than calling it a hole. And you could clearly see from the drone shot the moisture. It was the fact that it was moist underneath was the hole.
Yeah.
It wasn't just this crater.
Yeah.
And the obvious way to fix that for a race fan or someone on the internet would just get rid of the hole, right? You just, nothing is ever, I know what you said about rocket science, Lawty, but it's not that simple. You just disappear that hole, right?
Well,
not when you've got a program that starts at 1 o'clock and finishes at 2 o'clock the next morning.
Unfortunately, that hole has been there off and on for 20 years, and we've never been able to truly cure it. We get a camouflage most of the time, but once in a while it shows up, and we dug that thing out, I don't know, 8 foot square, 8 foot deep, and filled it full of rock.
Yep.
And then put 3 foot of dirt over the top of it. Well, it held, but it certainly didn't cure it.
No.
It's still there.
That was many years ago.
Oh yeah, that's been 20 years ago.
Yeah, I remember one year we had that big. You rented a big vibrating packer. I mean, you'd stand in the infield and that thing just shake. You could just feel it shaking the ground in the infield.
We still couldn't get rid of it. We still couldn't get rid of it. We'd send them out there between heat races with a goddamn sheesh foot, dump dirt in it by hand and sheesh foot it, and the goddamn thing never went away. It just kept coming back.
Well, I mean, look at your jet dryer. How many tracks in America own a jet dryer?
Yeah. One.
Yeah. When that thing rolled out the other day, you know, like it's...
Yeah.
You got resources.
Yeah.
You've built resources up, right?
That thing is...
Entertaining?
Yeah, I guess. I don't even know why we built the thing. I guess because we wanted to.
Super National survives in an era where everybody is so incredibly offended by everything. Somehow this is still the last bastion of political non-correctness and honesty, and if you're offended by something, you probably should either go somewhere else to watch a race. Like, you know, some of the stuff obviously that I'm involved with, that even I go, whoa, that's going to be some trouble. And then an old lady will come and laugh with me about it in the pits the next day. There's an understanding that when you come here, Lawty, it's about having a good time and not getting too butthurt, you know?
Well, you got to give our racers credit to the biggest degree. I mean, do we ever have very many problems with racers? I mean,
I dare you to answer that.
A few, but for the volume of people we have, and the amount of emotion that goes into this sport, it's pretty minuscule.
Yeah, I went to a city council meeting one time when we were he laughed about this. I went to a city council meeting one time when we're going about all these problems we're having here, some of the things that were going on in the pits and whatnot, and I told the police chief, I'm like, listen, you realize that you can arrest them and they're just going to get out of jail and come right back out here and do the same thing.
Yep.
But if we take away their ability to race, which is why they're here and why they're so motivated to be here, they're going to listen to us more than they're going to listen to the police department. That's just the reality of how this place kind of operates. You know, and yeah, we have our occasional disagreements and fights and some of the normal things that a sport that's as competitive as dirt track racing draws out of people. You know, we're going to have that, but we can manage it. We've been able to manage it. I think better manage it than the police, to be quite honest. So, for the volume of cars we have and the volume of people, knock on wood, it's been something we've been able to keep managed in a way that people want to still come back. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to come to the race and get the crap kicked out of them all the time, but that's kind of what our sport's like at times. You know, and people are very competitive. And he said this to me all the time. Don't you neuter my pit area. Don't you neuter my pit area. And again, he's told me that many times. You know, people are like, oh, you guys gotta find that guy, or you like to fight out here on the front stretch.
Well, let's talk about that. Okay, so that certainly got some attention, that fight that was on the... And I was expecting J Van to say, oh, kids, we don't encourage this. He's like, oh, there's a fight! And so, again, that's another thing that you don't actively promote it.
When they don't want to fight is when you need to be worried.
Their patience gone.
Yep.
That's how patient they are.
When they don't want to fight, we need to be worried. And that out there, I thought, was more entertaining than anything else. That was
not for Perry. Perry got a couple haymakers.
I mean, right. You got two guys with their helmets on. I mean, well, this is going to be interesting. We're like everybody else. We're like, okay, let's watch this. I wouldn't have Perry. I mean, it was nice of Perry to get in between them, but they solved it. They solved it, and when they went into the pits, we didn't have no problems with them. So.
Each year when I come back, there's someone missing. Mr. Avery this year. I always worry about the nice old man and the moon drifter in the wrecker.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because they're fixtures to me. And that infield world is very different to anywhere else on the track. And those families, the Avery family all got around his sign out there. And it's very emotional. And yesterday you had that beautiful service with Mr. White about, this is a big family. Really is.
Most of them been here for so long, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avery was here when I came.
Yep.
It's just, well, so people even beyond the competitors, people are still dedicated to this sport.
Yep.
You know, whether it be the fans or even some of the businesses are competitive. You know, are dedicated to this sport. You know, I don't know of any other sport that's like this. I really don't.
Everybody's connected to.
Yep.
Everybody's connected to the actual racing itself.
Yep.
You know, people say all the time to us, you know, that promoter's kid races, or that promoter races, or that
Yes.
guy knows that person that's driving that car. Well, you can spread that pretty much across almost every official that we have here. You know, we're all connected to somebody, because we're at the end of the day, we're race fans too. I mean, I do think that's why you get some of the dedicated people that you do to the sport, because they enjoy the sport as working in it. They enjoy watching it and being a part of it as much as working in it. So I know I sure do. I mean, that's what drew me to the sport. You know, I grew up in it. You know, I've been pretty close to it, but I got away from it for a few years, and somehow I got pulled back in, and here I am. It's just so incredibly addicting. It really
Yeah.
is.
The whole thing is so gratifying.
So you still love it, Lawty?
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
How old are you now?
85.
Okay.
I hope to make it to 90.
Okay, that's the plan.
Yeah,
5-year plan at the
that's
moment.
The plan.
Okay.
I'm on a 5-year program.
You can
5
get that.
years.
You can get that in writing,
Five-
Brett.
5 years from now, Brett's going to own this thing.
Okay.
I'm like, what in the world do you want to work? I mean, I give him credit. My mom, who's in her 80s, you know, there's a lot of people that are, they stick it out. They love racing, and they want to work, and I think that's a generational thing.
Yeah, I agree.
To be quite honest, I'm not sure if I want to work that hard when I'm 85.
I'll ask Ginny.
I know my dad doesn't. Yeah, right.
I'll check with the boss.
No,
That's another topic.
that's a whole other.
So you still love this, Lawty?
Oh, yeah.
What do you love about it?
I don't really know. I mean, I suppose it's the competitiveness, I suppose. I don't know. This is the only thing I've ever done in my entire life, though. I've never done anything else except racing.
Lawty, you come from that era where, the Jack Hewitt era, where they said no chicks in the pits.
Yeah,
Certainly no chicks behind the wheel.
yeah.
And yet you've been a very big supporter of Taylor Cool. And we saw the other day that women in racing was incredibly popular. They're a very important part of the Super Nationals culture going forward. And obviously you see something in Taylor and giving her some great opportunities as well. So as much as you come from that era where you don't have women in the pits, you're very supportive of that.
Well, we've never been supportive of it. We've always had women in the pits.
Yep. But in terms of being a racer, that's different, right?
Well, I don't know if we ever had, early on, I don't know if we ever had any women racers, did we?
It's been a long time since
Anybody that,
Not as many as you have now, right?
Right, for sure. I mean, at IMCA, you go back, when I started, we didn't even have the Lady Eagle, which is dedicated to women racers. And I
Yep.
think this year we have, I don't know, it's like 400, between 400 and 500 women
Oh, wow.
licensed members in IMCA
Wow.
racing
I had
no
across
clue.
the United States.
I don't know it was that big now.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Where you go, when I first come here, we had, I can't remember her name, I think some young lady from Oklahoma that came up and raced a modified. She was the first person to qualify for
Yep.
an A main here. I think her name was Dina Wilson.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, you go from that, you go back 20 years to where we're at now currently, and yeah, I mean, I've got 2 daughters. My oldest is 27. My youngest is 14. Thankfully, my oldest didn't want to race.
What an expensive hobby.
Thankfully, she did not have much interest in racing.
Yep.
I think my role at IMCA when she was in her teens was a little bit more like Jim Standard was doing. So she got to see some of the controversial side of the sport, the back end side.
Yep.
And I just think it traumatized her.
Yep.
To be quite honest, she's back. She's here. She works for us. But my youngest, who's 14 and gets her school permit in like a week.
Yeah.
She needs a race car.
She needs a race
She
car.
needs a race
told
car.
me
Well, you've
last
got a
night-
stock car.
She told me last night she wants to race a stock car, and
Well, their dad's got one.
my wife is
Not happy.
not happy about any of this.
It'd be difficult to tell. It's very difficult to read Virginia when she's got something on her mind.
Yes, it is.
I think it's the best thing in the world for it to happen.
Oh,
Well,
God.
you know, I'll tell you the upside of it, Lawty. You know this. That if she does race, she'll spend 10, 15 years with her dad on the weekends.
Yeah.
right? That's the reality of it.
Well, more than that, because she'll spend another 10, 20 hours in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Because there's.
Well, maybe.
If you own a race car,
Depends whether she is in the shop,
married
though.
to it. You're married. To
Yeah,
it.
you're right.
This sport is so generational. It once you're in it, it's
Yeah.
really hard to get out of it. You know, and the guys who are my age, who, you know, I remember, I just still see them as I see us all as being younger, and now
Yep.
they're here and their kids are racing. You know, you've got the Murdies as a good example.
Yeah.
You know, they've got
What a talented family.
Oof.
Mackerel.
Yeah, and I remember back when Damon was racing hobby stocks. I mean, that's
Really?
how long ago it's been, and now, you know, you got Dallin racing mods and stock cars at the same track on the same night, running up front, leading these races. It's just, I don't know, makes you feel old a little bit. but it also it's pretty cool. It's pretty satisfying. To me it says that the sport can continue. You know, there's
Well, some guy won the World 100 last night.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard.
Now, Ricky went up when the
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So when he was at Knoxville Nationals late models, he kept looking at me. He come up to me and said, "I keep waiting for you to ask me which Boone spoon did I pull out." So that Super National culture stays with drivers no matter where they go, and that now you've got a guy that Super National superstar who just won the World 100.
Yeah.
So that's something to be proud of as well.
Absolutely. I think Ricky is a generational racer. I think there's just no doubt about it. He's that good.
Yeah.
Back when he was turning laps in an IMCA 10 years ago, when he's winning the Dakota Tour every night, and you know, every race we had that was big, he was winning it, including this one. You know, the night he came here, won a qualifier, we disqualified him. He went out there with a grinder and Ken Schrader helped him fix his car, and he came back the next night, won the qualifier again, and then won the Super Nationals 2 nights later, whatever it was. You know, I mean, he's that good, and I think a guy like that, it's good. He's good for IMCA racing, and I think Ricky knows that. I think he's got a really good balance in his life. You know, you're seeing him on social media. While we're racing the Super Nationals, he's commenting on our social media stuff.
Yep.
He has never forgotten about being here.
Yeah, agreed.
He's a good dude, and I'm telling you, he is one hell of a race car driver. So that's very inspiring. I think a lot of people are now looking at, I want to be like Ricky did this, and I can do this, and I think that there's some truth to that, but they're also, you know, they're setting the bar high for themselves, because he is an extremely talented racer, and he just proved it to everybody in the country. He's the best dirt late model racer in the country. I've said that, and you know, obviously Pierce is a good racer. There's not other good racers, but I just think Ricky can drive anything. You can put him out there on a lawnmower, and he'd probably win that race too.
Well, there's some kid from California that chews gum a lot called Dilly. Had his own race car in the field with Richie. Dilly wasn't here, but he put Richie Gustin in the car, which was super cool. So that's another idea of people seeing the importance of this event, even when they're not racing it themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I told Dylan, you know, I text these guys. I see kind of, you know, we had a Boone mount on Dylan, and then I thought, well, is he coming or not? And he had at the time he'd sent in his entry. He was going to come to the Super Nationals, and then he had a ride pop up, and so he took that. Can't blame him whatsoever. I'd rather have him here.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I'm selfish from that standpoint, because I want our race fans and
see the
people
best
here. Yep. I want to have the best features, the best racers that this sport has in the A main. You know, and to put on the best race we possibly can. I think that's why people come.
The intimacy of this place, like when I look down just there, the tech guys and girls are right there on the old pickleball court there. Yeah. When I first came here 5 years ago, well, it's kind of what it looks like, right? Pickleball court.
We should paint that. We could paint pickleball courts
Mate,
out there.
your Napa fan zone, I want to have pickleball for pole. You know, you're doing this golf thing. They should have had to play pickleball for pole position.
Yeah, I chuckle at the golf thing, because we threw bags for how many years, and then everybody start figuring out what you're going to do, and then they're like, okay, we're going to practice.
Yep.
So we just switch it up, and you put golf. I watched some of those guys golf, and I'm like, that guy's never golfed in his life. I can just tell by the way he's holding the club.
Well, I saw Cole Sarneski's comment was, I apologise for that disgusting display of golf. But you look at it, you watch the cars get teched, you can sit here 200, 300 feet away and watch a guy either be elated or devastated because his car just got teched. They then roll off the track right here, and they go under this stand back to their pits. Everything plays out right here in front of you. It's a small, intimate little place. When I heard there was 1,000 cars, I thought it was like the state fairgrounds. I thought, surely it's got to be huge. And then J-Van brought me here and we sat right where I'm sitting now. But how can you put 1,000 cars in this place? How many acres is this?
70 acres.
And you use every bit of it.
Yeah. We're in trouble right now. In fact, he's trying to talk me into putting more fencing in right now, and I never once quit spending money.
Where are all the golf carts gone, Brett? Lawty's pissed. You've lost 9 golf carts?
Well, we were at 8. I think I found 3 more, so we're down to 5 missing so far. So, but this place is a logistical nightmare.
I can tell that really pisses Lawty off more than anything.
It's a logistical nightmare trying to get all this stuff done, but you know that's part of what's fun about it, making improvements. You know, and again, I've learned a lot of things. A lot of the things he says it rings very, very, very true. You know, when I was much younger, I was like, what in the hell is he talking about? And now I'm like, it just makes so much sense. So much sense. It's what built this place, is his perspective on racing and how to run a facility, and he is spot on. You know, when racers say, oh, you guys should pay more, or you should do this, you should do that, he's like, would you rather have concrete to put your race car on, or would you rather have an extra $50? You know, and it's so true. It's so true, because look just how it's built, this place and this facility. It's just every step of the way that perspective is taken, and it's why we can accommodate the amount of cars that we do.
I can't. It took me a long time to understand how the stands fill up and go quiet. They fill up and go quiet during the race event, because people go back to their campground and watch it on TV. Yeah. And then, like Boone Larson, right? When the boners come out, they go back to their camper and, you know, they do what they do there. And then all of a sudden, when he's on track, they're there for that. And then they go back to their campers. And I couldn't understand how people knew what I was talking about when they weren't even in the stands. And then I realized every trailer has got the TV set up in there.
Sure.
Watching IMCA TV.
Yeah. Yep.
Your TV team is the best dirt broadcasting team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever.
100%.
Like Nate and Grainer and those guys lead a phenomenal group. And people like Byron Victor, the photographer from Canada, and the G-Wagon, and the way they host the shows, and phenomenal, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
the Unabomber drone guys, the Sarge with his... Every time that big wide drone shot, I want to cry.
Yeah.
They're making art.
They are. They are, and you know, they have a vision on how they want to promote the sport and promote the event, and you gotta let people that are good at that stuff. You gotta let the people that are good at what they do be the best at what they do. And when you find those people in those roles, you know, the end product is what you see. And I think our TV, our coverage, the perspective that Nate and Chris have on what needs to be done, and you put Garrett, you put Byron, and you put Ian, and some of the guys that are pretty dedicated to us, you put them into the equation, and man, it's such a cool show. I had no idea they were doing any of that pre-race show. Yeah. And so Chris last year, he said, we need to get this stuff done. We're not doing this stuff last minute like we did this year. So we line board a bunch of lines to the infield, and we put power and fiber out there, because last year we were crashing drones because we had too much RF.
Oh, yes, yep.
You know, with all the cars and everything, so our drones couldn't fly. And so we put all that fiber in there, and then when it came down to pull the fiber and get it ready to run, it was probably a month ago. And they didn't have the fiber ready, and so I pulled the power in, and we ran the lines and didn't do everything that Nate and Chris wanted done. And they were pretty pissed off at me. They were really pissed off. They were really mad at me for a few days. And I'm like, listen.
Have they met your wife?
I'm like, listen, you gotta, I'm following your lead. You guys weren't ready, and so I'm ready. So we're not doing anything last minute. So they were trenching over here during the races, like Saturday, or the Prelude. They were trenching, trying to get the fiber line to the other side of the racetrack so we could do all of our in-pit interviews where Ben was walking, because we couldn't do that stuff without.
I thought that, yeah.
Yeah, so it had to, you know, so little things like that, improvements every year, you know, and those guys are no different. Yeah, great team.
One of the things about a facility is that if you don't move forward, trust me, it'll move backwards.
Yep.
If you don't make improvements every year that you own the place, it'll eventually fall into a hole. It's just the way it is, you know, because this shit don't last forever. These racetracks are so hard on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if it ain't built out of concrete and steel, it ain't gonna be there very long.
The word nationals is universally known as the elite, right? When you call something the nationals, it's the biggest of the big. To call something super nationals, when I first heard of that, I thought, wow, how arrogant is that? You add the word super to the biggest word there is. And I came here and went, you know what? I get it. I hope that you're both proud of this. It's Sunday morning, so I feel really emotional about it all because you just get so mentally fried. But what a phenomenal thing you have here, guys.
Well, I mean, this shit didn't happen overnight. You know.
Yep.
And with the growth of IMCA and the growth of the event, it's been hand in hand.
Yep.
We wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for the growth of IMCA.
Yep.
You know, we can take all the credit we want to take, but they're the one that feeds us the cars. You know, we just put the event on. And if they got enough cars, they'll show up. You know, because this is for an IMCA racer. This is the place to be.
Yeah.
You know, in September.
Yeah, it most definitely is a snapshot of IMCA weekly racing across the United States.
Yeah.
When you pull guys from how many states we had here, I get too many numbers in my head. 36.
Queensland, Victoria,
You
New
got
South
Canada,
Wales.
right? You got 3 Canadian provinces, and then you got the 3 Australians that came.
Yeah.
And then I think there was like 33 or something like state-wise, and you got guys that come from 12 hours away in the opposite ends of the United States, and they meet right here in the middle at Boone Speedway, and they go out there and put on an awesome race and never raced against each other. You know, it just goes to show the quality of the racing across the United States.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I think IMCA is a small part of that. You know, but at the end of the day, it's still the racers. This is about racers doing racer things. You know, and it's so incredibly fulfilling to be a part of on the back end of this stuff, on the back end of the sport, or the other side of the sport is what I tell people. It's very, very, very satisfying to see that many cars want to come here and be a part of this, and it's very motivating.
Yeah.
And it's an adrenaline rush. I don't think I've slept more than maybe 4 hours a day for the last probably 3 weeks. I come here every day. 2 weeks before the race, I drive over 4 hours here and back for 2 weeks, and I'll spend the next week driving back and forth again. So this event is very, very fulfilling, but it's very difficult too. But you know, that's what makes it fun too.
To your point about letting people do what they do and do it well, neither one of you guys even knew I was coming in 2021. I think you sort of like, who the hell is this guy, right? And that was Jay Van and Chris Krug and Blake Anderson and those guys saying, you know, and I didn't even know what the hell it was.
Yep.
But sometimes things just happen because they happen.
For the best.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That's a fact. How in the hell Jerry found you?
In a swine barn.
It's hard to believe that we give Jerry credit for that.
Ain't that the truth?
But Jerry does deserve some credit. He somehow, I don't know if he necessarily had the same vision as we have, but he somehow...
He was looking to keep himself out of more work by being on the infield. Let's face it, that's how it worked.
There you go.
But Ryan and Jerry are two of the best announcers I've ever worked with. They have this beautiful odd couple way about them, and Ryan somehow keeps Jerry like a little kid at the fair on those ropes. You know, those kids they have on the rope, like he just reins him back in. But to entertain as an announcer for 12 to 15 hours, that's
tough job.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, tough job.
And these fans
And do it day after day after day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. It's a phenomenal place.
How they keep their voices.
Yeah.
You know.
Steroids, I think, mostly for Jerry.
Golf drops.
Throat coat is what it's called.
Throat coat.
Yeah, don't even go there.
I got to write this stuff down. Oil rig, pickleball, and throat coat.
Yeah.
Those are the 3.
That's a t-shirt. What about hobbies? Give me a throbby. Can we use that one this year as well?
Stock cars are rock
stars. Stock cars are rock stars. I love stock.
Boom shakalaka. I mean,
we need to get that stock car tour going in Australia. We got to talk about that, all right? And huge thank you to CZ for what he did with Nathan. I'm hoping that opens up they're already talking about next year. Cole's going to go down and race in Australia. CZ's going to take his whole
when
team.
Cole came across the introductions last night, getting ready to race. I think it was the stock car was the first one, and I said, "You ready to go to Australia and race?" That's what I said to him.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh hell yeah." I was like, "Man, I wish I could go with you."
We have talked about this.
I can't go to Australia by myself, and my wife, I don't think I can get her on an airplane that'll be in the sky that long. So
Told
we'll
you.
see.
Thank you so much for what you both do. I love this. I can't imagine my life without it. I wish I'd found it earlier, but things happened at the right time.
Yeah.
And it means I avoided the flood in 2020 or 2019, right?
Yeah.
When it flooded out, I don't want to even know about that. That laugh cracks me up. We're here in the oil rig for the Lawty and the rooter. Your wife was so thrilled when she found out what that word means in Australia. Happy Super Nationals. What, at 44 next year?
44.
Yeah. Who would have believed?
I know, right?
Yeah.
You got 5 more years, Lawty.
Yep.
At least.
Yep, I hope. I hope.
So does Brett.
Yeah,
I
you get
hope.
more than that.